The year is 1992. I'm a freshman in high school. I'm 14, and I just took a pregnancy test. And it's positive. As I sat there alone in the bathroom at home, reading the results of the test, I was scared. I was confused. I was overwhelmed. And I felt like the narrative of my life had been written for me in that moment. And for a while, the narrative of teen moms became who I was, because shortly after I had my baby, I dropped out of high school. A while after that, I was on my own. And then a few years after that, I became a mom again, a single mom. There's a quote that I like by Michelle Obama, and she says, "If you don't get out there and define who you are, you will be quickly and inaccurately defined by others." So basically, the narrative of who you are will be written for you if you don't get out there and write it for yourself. But when we use the word narrative, what do we mean? So if we look up the word narrative in the Oxford Dictionary, it is a written or spoken account of connected events, a story. And narratives matter. They matter because they shape beliefs and perceptions. They have the power to influence decision-making, and they can even mobilize change. According to the beliefs and perceptions about teen moms, we are uneducated, we're irresponsible, we're immoral, and we're destined to live a life of poverty. Another one of my favorite quotes is by Brené Brown, and she says, "There is a certain beauty that owes its existence to the dark, because the person you see before you today is none of those things. In fact, I am educated. I went back at 21 and got my GED, and I graduated from Penn State with a degree in psychology in 2016. I'm responsible. I'm a homeowner. I'm a director of marketing for a large organization. I'm a committed parent and a committed dog parent to Nugget. And I'm stable. While I did live in poverty at one point, it was temporary. It was not my destiny." You see, we have the power, we have the responsibility to check these types of narratives. If we don't, they can perpetuate these biases. They can reduce lack of empathy and understanding of people outside of our groups. And they can cause us to overlook unique talents and perspectives from people in diverse backgrounds. Challenging or checking the narrative can work a lot like branding. So when we think about, brand and marketing, brand is who you are. So before you can challenge or check the narrative, if I were to say, okay, how do we check a narrative like this? Well, we could say, we could take risks, or we could set goals, or we could stand out, challenge our comfort zones. And all of those things can be true, but before any of those things can happen, challenging or checking the narrative of your life looks like uncovering who your true, authentic self is. As a young mother, I was a person with grit. I would stand at the bus stop with my baby in the baby carrier, waiting for the bus to take him to daycare, and then I would hop another bus to go to school. And then when I had my second child, I worked full-time. I took him to daycare. Then I went to school at night, and I took him to a second daycare. That takes a ton of grit and commitment. I was a person with empathy. I withheld judgment because I did not want to be judged, and I tried my best to create connections with people so that they, as well as I, did not feel alone. And I had a ton of courage. To carry a baby at 14 takes a lot of courage, and to walk the halls of a high school and be the only pregnant teen there, and to stand and face judgment every single day and never fold takes a ton of courage. True authenticity is effortless, it's human, and it's relatable, because these are the things that no one can take from you. These are the things that make you who you are and propel you forward when you literally have nothing else. So let's circle back to the brand thing. When we think about disrupting the narrative of our life, the authenticity part, that's where you come in. You are a brand. You are your personal brand. Your brand is the unique combination of skill sets, values, and beliefs that make you distinct and memorable from everyone else. If you decide that you want to disrupt the narrative of your life, you can do it in 3 steps. Step number 1 is figuring out who your authentic self is. These are the things that cannot be taught or bought. These are the things that are core to who you are. When you figure out who you are, then figure out what the world needs and how who you are intersects with that. And then create a vision for yourself. Where do you see yourself in 5 or even 10 years? Your values and characteristics can help you be disruptive in many ways. My grit held me down when I was tired and ready to quit college. My empathy created connections in personal and professional relationships, and even in interviews where I landed jobs that maybe I wasn't completely qualified for. That just goes to the saying of, I can teach you the job, but I can't teach you to be a good human. And my courage continues to land me in spaces I'd never imagined I'd be. Once you've done this, then you need to market yourself. So marketing tells the story of who you are. You have to ensure that you show up in spaces where you can showcase who you are and what you have to offer. One thing I want to note is authenticity should never be manufactured for the sake of disruption. It could come across as being inauthentic. True authenticity stems from self-awareness, honesty, and a commitment to your values, and it could be a powerful disruptive force when harnessed effectively. I want to note that your circle of people around you can enable your authenticity, which means they also can hinder it. So I'm going to leave you with some solid advice I got from a very wise woman. She told me to pick your 5 people. Those people that value and embrace your true authentic self. Those people that challenge and inspire you to be your best. Those people that join with you to challenge the status quo. And those people that stand with you and join in sorrow. Those are your people. I did just that, and I soared because I was no longer simply tolerated in my environment. I was celebrated. So here's my invitation to you. When you find yourself in the middle of adapting to a narrative that does not serve you well and you want to be disruptive, remember these 3 things. Number 1, figure out who you are. Remember those things that cannot be taught or bought. Mine was grit, courage, and empathy. Then figure out what the world needs around you and how who you are intersects with that. And then create a vision for yourself. Where do you see yourself in 5 or even 10 years? Authenticity should never be compromised. It's how you channel it that's important. You have the power to both disrupt and define your life narrative. So I invite you, please, set your current path on fire and light the way with the flames. Thank you.